Listen, I was alive once, and then I wasn't. It's simple as that. I mean, now I'm alive again. The in-between part is it's still a little fuzzy, but I can tell you that at some point or another, my head got chopped off and shoved into a freezer. You might have done it too. The dying part, I mean. Or the choosing to die part? Anyway, they say we're the only species on the planet with the knowledge of our impending doom. It's just that some of us feel that doom a lot sooner than expected. Trust me when I tell you that everything can go from fine and dandy to dark and depressing faster than you can say acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The old me got so sick so fast that no one really had time to do anything. And the chemo, the radiation, and the bone marrow transplants, they just made me sicker, faster, with much more ferocity than before. They say you can't die more than once. I would strongly disagree. But this isn't a story about the old me dying. No one wants to hear about the old me dying. No one wants to hear about how I told my parents, my best friend, Kyle, and my girlfriend, Kate, that I was choosing to give up. That's a story I don't want to tell. What I do want to tell you, though, is a story about how suddenly I found myself waking up in a hospital room with my throat sore, dry and burning, like someone had shoved an entire bag of vinegar-soaked cotton balls down it. I want to tell you about how I was moving my fingers and wiggling my toes and how the doctors and nurses standing around me were so impressed with this. I'm not sure why blinking my eyes earned a round of applause and why it mattered that I was peeing into a bag, but to these people, it was like they were witnessing a true miracle. Some of the nurses were crying. I want to tell you a story about how you can suddenly wake up to find yourself living a life you were never supposed to live. It could happen to you, just like it happened to me, and you could try to get back the life you think you deserve to be living, just like I did. They told me I couldn't talk. They said it was too early to try that just yet. I don't know why, but I listened anyway. My mom and dad walked in, and she cried big tears, and he went in to touch my face, and the nurse asked him to wait. Asked him to please step aside until they were sure everything was working okay. They gave me a small whiteboard and a marker and told me to write my name. I did. They asked me to write down where I live. I did. Then the room got suddenly quiet, and even though it was clean, I could smell medicine and bleach, and I knew something was wrong. This is when they told me they'd done it. They'd gone through with the whole cranial hibernation reanimation thing. They'd actually cut my head off. I was so sure they'd put me under and change their mind, but when my mom held up a mirror, I saw that my neck had bandages wrapped all around it, and I looked pretty rough. My lips were purple and cracked, my cheeks flushed, my eyes were big and glazed over. Drugged. My eyes were drugged. I'm going to tell you the truth here and say that I never, not once, thought this crazy stunt would work, and I never thought my parents did either, but I looked up at their wet eyes and felt their hands, and I knew right then that they were about as happy as any two people had ever been. Their dead son laying on a bed in front of them, silent but with a beat in his chest. Mary Shelley's nightmare come true. Hospitals, I knew. I knew them like most kids know their own homes. But like a factory, a hospital has its own rhythm. Sounds from every room that collide in the air and echo down into your ears and repeat themselves, even in the nighttime, when the world wants so bad to appear silent and peaceful. Beeps, footsteps, the tearing of plastic, spinning wheels on carts, Wheel of Fortune on the neighbor's TV. These were the sounds I died to. And these were the ones that welcomed me back. A world so noisy you have to lean up a bit to hear the familiar doctor as he tries to speak over it all. Just as you were starting to get used to the light, you have to close your eyes to hear him. A world that looks almost exactly the same as the one you closed your eyes to before. So much the same that you think of laughing because you got so close to being done with it all. Until you finally hear the doctor as he speaks a little louder this time. Welcome back, Travis Coates.